the context. The only thing left on this is to go back through and clean up all of these white areas. The way that you do that is you just continue to erase. Again, always on the mask. If I want to zoom in so that I can get a little tighter in here, I can click the magnifying glass tool and zoom in. Click on the hand tool to move the picture around. Then go back to my brush, make my brush smaller, and then erase. So here again, I'm just going to go back and forth with the brushes, the eraser and the paintbrush. To clean up these areas. Just like in Photoshop, while I'm using a tool, if I want to move the picture around, I'm holding the space bar down and moving the picture around like this. Another keyboard shortcut, since the brush tool does something slightly different, I can bring the ear back. Since I'm going to be going back and forth between the brush tool and the eraser, notice over here where it says eraser tool and then in parentheses there's an E. That's the keyboard shortcut. So the brush is a B, the eraser tool is an E. Hitting Command Z to delete that or to undo. Then I'm going to hit the E key and fine tune this. Every time I go back and forth, now I'm hitting the B key to bring back some of the ear and the E key to erase it. Just to fine tune it. Now I'm hitting Command minus and nothing happens. So that doesn't work the same. I'm right mouse clicking or control clicking and saying zoom out. Then I'm going to turn the cat back on. Click on the cat's layer mask. Turn George Clooney's layer off for a second. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the cat that I just did with George. Which is I'm going to use the brush tool on the cat's layer mask. Switch to the eraser by hitting the letter E and delete all this black area around here. Because I don't want this shadow up here around the cat's head. So in the same way as with the George Clooney picture or layer, I want to clean up all this stuff around the cat. Then I'm going to turn George's layer back on. I'm going to click, because I want George in front, I'm going to click on George's layer and move it up above the cat. Click the magnifying glass, hold the control key down, zoom out. Hold the space bar down to move the picture around. And it's just a matter now of going back and forth using the brush tool and the eraser tool to fine-tune all these details. I'm going to erase this part of the cat's ear. Click on George's layer mask. hit the B tool, and then bring back part of George's face. So again, from here on out, it's just fine-tuning. Sometimes you've got to play a little bit, and then when things show up that you don't like, you have to erase it. For the most part, I'm not too dissatisfied with the way this is looking, because the key here is to show my students how to utilize a tool that doesn't cost them anything. This is totally done on the web. So little bits and pieces like this little white space here, I'm going to erase it from his mask. Get a smaller brush. So now I can do little tiny details like this to clean up around the edge. And again, going back and forth between the brush tool and the eraser tool to fine-tune this. Hitting Command 0 shows me more of the space. Clicking the magnifying glass and then control clicking on it, I can zoom out. I'm going to close my layers palette because I'm pretty satisfied with the way this is looking. And this is what my finished image looks like at the moment. I could probably work a little bit more on here, but in a pinch this isn't too bad. There's a lot of things that I need to work on in here, like the cat's nose is missing, and I want to see more of that. So I'm going to go back to the layers, click on the cat's layer mask, click on George's layer mask, and erase some of his face. Larger brush so it's a softer transition. So I can see more of the cat's face in here. Since it's not exactly in half, I'm going to click on the Move tool. Make sure that I'm clicked on the cat's image, not the mask, and move the cat over a little bit. So I can position it a little bit closer to what I'm hoping to achieve. Then again, I can click on the mask, click on the eraser, and then take away some of the cat. Again, you just sort of have to go back and forth a couple of times, and since I've erased from George's mask as well, I've got to add back to his mask. Until I've achieved what I want to do here. So again, play around with it. This is not a bad alternative to Photoshop, but it's not Photoshop. That seems kind of an odd statement to make. But again, for our purposes, for the fact that it's free, and to learn the basics of layer masks, it's not too bad. Notice how large my brush is. The larger the brush, the softer the transition. I'm just going to soften up this edge just so it transitions a little bit better. And I could probably play with this all night, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna call this finished. Just want to play with that edge just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go File, Save. Every time you save it, you have to make sure that the format is PXD, and then click OK. It's already in the right folder. It's a PXD file. I'm going to click Save here and Replace. Since I've already showed you how to upload Photoshop files, I don't need to show you that again. But you can upload the PXD file so that I can take a look at it for your final.